everyone, welcome back to Bae from Burma. I'm Bae and today we are diving into a popular Chinese-inspired dish that's also a hit in Burma, sweet and sour prawns. Picture this, juicy, shell-on prawns coated in a delicious sauce, paired with vibrant rainbow vegetables. It's the perfect balance of sweet, tangy and savory flavors, and trust me, you won't miss the restaurant version after making this at home. Let's get started. Here's the list of ingredients. It might look a bit long, but don't worry. I'll guide you through each step in the video, so it's super easy to follow. First, let me show you how I clean prawns my way. For this step, you need some prawns, a pair of scissors, and a toothpick. Now we'll cut the head diagonally and remove the stomach from the head. It's a simple step, but it's key to avoid any sandy texture or unwanted bits when eating the prawns. Next, we'll remove the small tooth located on the lower left and right sides of the prawn's head. It's firm and easy to spot. Just gently pull it out. Here's what the tooth looks like. And I repeat the same process for the right tooth. Now let's move on to the deveining process. I like to use a toothpick, but you can use anything with a similar shape. Just gently poke it from the soft spot between the shells and slowly pull it out. And that's it. We're free from any sandy texture when eating the prawns. Removing the intestinal tract is simple, but it does require a little patience. After that, simply use the scissors to cut off all the legs. Then give the prawns a quick rinse with water to finish the cleaning process. For this recipe, I'm using 10 prawns for a dish that serves the whole family. Now, let's prepare the vegetables one by one. First, I'll finely chop 5 cloves of garlic and set them aside. Next, I'll take 3 tomatoes and chop them finely as well. Personally, I don't like the seeds from the tomato, so I rinse them out with water before chopping the tomatoes. Next, I'll prepare the yellow and green bell peppers. I start by cutting the yellow pepper in half, since I'm only using half for the dish. Then I remove the core and seeds and trim off the white pit with a knife. After that, I chop the peppers in roughly 1-inch squares. You can cut them however you like. There's no right or wrong way here. Then I do the same for the green bell pepper like the yellow pepper. Now I'll move on to the onion. I'll use half of the onion here and cut it into 3 parts and then peel it into onion petals. For the cauliflower, I used just a quarter and cut it into bite-sized florets. Since cauliflower is a delicate vegetable, I avoid cutting through the florets with a knife. Instead, I cut the stem and gently break the florets apart by hand. This helps keep the florets intact without falling apart. Now it's time to prepare the garnish, spring onion. I chop it into small pieces for sprinkling later and set it aside. And that's it. The preparation is done, and here are my colorful rainbow vegetables. Feel free to use any vegetables you like for this recipe. The best part is how customizable it is to suit your family favorites. For the next step, I marinate the prawns with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. I mix everything thoroughly by hand to ensure that the flavors are evenly combined. Don't worry too much about hygiene here, because most people don't use gloves when cooking at home. Just make sure your hands are clean. For this recipe, I'll be using a total of 200 ml of water adding it gradually throughout the preparation and cooking process. Before I start cooking, I mix half a tablespoon of starch powder with a small amount of water to create a slurry, then set it aside. Now is the time to saute the prawns. First, I add 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Once the oil is hot, then I add the chopped garlic and fry it until it turns golden and fragrant. Next, I add the marinated prawns and stir fry until they turn a vibrant orange color. By this point, your kitchen will be filled with the delicious aroma of prawns cooked in a garlic-infused oil. Once the prawns are lightly fried, scoop them into a plate and set them aside. The next step is the finale. It's time to make the sweet and sour sauce. I don't clean the pan as the leftover flavors will enhance the sauce. Here I start by adding 1 tablespoon of canola oil and the remaining chopped garlic. Then I stir until it turns golden. Then I add the finely chopped tomatoes, stirring occasionally and adding a little water as needed to keep the mixture moist. Here's where the magic happens. I add 1 tablespoon of sugar to give the sweet part of the sweet and sour, followed by the half teaspoon of salt to boost the flavor and balances the sweetness. And then I continue to add the 2 teaspoons of soy sauce to get a deep and the umami flavor. After that, I use the oyster sauce about 1 tablespoon to get a rich and the savory depth as well as the slight hint of sweetness. And finally, I use 3 tablespoons of tomato sauce. In this recipe, the tomato sauce will bring us the tanginess, sweetness, and a vibrant red color to the dish. And then I stir everything together and watch the sauce come to life. Next is the time to bring everything together with the vegetables. Here I add the vegetables one by one, starting with the green and yellow bell peppers, cauliflower, and onion. And then I cook them for about 2 to 3 minutes. Here you may want to add the water gradually up to the consistency that you like. Finally, I toss in the cooked prawns and stir everything well, letting it simmer for about a minute to let the sauce soak into the prawns. Just a little tip here, overcooking prawns can make them less crunchy and a little bit tough. So I like to keep the cooking time short, but of course it's all up to you. Cook them the way your family enjoys the most. As the final step, I add the potato starch slurry, just to thicken the sauce, stirring until it becomes smooth and glossy. Give it a quick stir and we are done. Look at that. The sweet and sour sauce with perfectly crunchy prawn is absolutely mouth-watering. Serve it over steamed rice and you got a meal that's even better than takeout. I finished the dish with a quick sprinkle of spring onion for a fresh and vibrant touch here. Let me show you how clean the prawns are for serving. Thanks to the careful cleaning, the prawn is completely free of any bits. So there's no grainy texture when you bite into them. Just a smooth and pleasant experience. That's it for this recipe. I hope you enjoyed watching and can almost taste it through the screen. See you next time. Bye bye everyone.